let's talk about something called critical path analysis. It's basically a method designed to stop you from wasting time on all those tasks that don't actually move the needle on your project.
So let me ask you this. You're busy, right? You're putting in the hours, your team is constantly moving, but for some reason, that deadline just isn't getting any closer. It's got to be one of the most frustrating feelings ever, and it's a problem that just working harder never seems to solve.
Well, here's why. It's because you haven't found the red line. See, the problem is you're treating every single task like it's equally important. But the truth is, they're not. Buried deep inside your project, there's a hidden sequence of tasks, a red line, that is secretly dictating your finish date. Everything else is just noise.
And here's the tough pill to swallow. When you focus all your energy on those non-critical tasks, it doesn't matter how efficient you are. You're not just spinning your wheels, you are actively becoming the bottleneck that's holding the entire project back.
But what if you could change all that? What if you could shift your whole mindset from doing everything to one of doing only what truly matters? Well, that's the power you get when you find your critical path.
So what exactly are we talking about here? The formal name is the critical path method, or CPM. And really, it's just a fancy way of saying it's a technique to identify the absolute longest chain of dependent tasks in your project. This chain, and only this chain, determines the minimum time your project is going to take. The concept itself is brutally simple. A 1-minute delay on any task along this specific path means a 1-minute delay for the entire project. That's it. No wiggle room. This is the sequence that you have to protect at all costs.
So how do we find this incredibly important path? Well, the first step is to really understand how your tasks are all connected. You need to map out the dominoes, so you can see which task needs to fall before the next one can even get started.
Basically, every project is made up of just two types of tasks. You've got your serial tasks. These are sequential. Task A has to be done before you can even think about starting task B. And then you have parallel tasks, which are things that can be done at the same time. The secret to speeding up a project? Guard those serial tasks with your life and offload the parallel work to others.
Think about it like this. You can't build the roadway of a bridge until the pillars are in place and totally steady. It's just common sense, right? Identifying this natural order of things is the foundation of building your project map and finding that red line. Okay, so now that we get the whole dependencies thing, let's get into it. Let's calculate that red line and find out what your project's true timeline really is.
The whole process really breaks down into 5 pretty straightforward steps. First, you're going to list everything you need to do. Then, figure out the order they go in. After that, you estimate how long each thing will take. Then, you draw it all out in a diagram. And finally, you find the longest path from start to finish. That's it.
Okay, let's build one out. First things first, you brainstorm and list every single activity. Get it all down on paper. Then you assign a realistic time estimate to each one. These are basic building blocks.
Now, we start connecting the dots. We just draw lines to show the flow of work, right? This task has to finish before that one can start. This is where the actual logic of your project starts to take shape.
And once everything's connected, you get a complete network diagram that looks something like this. Now, it might look a little complex, but really, all it's showing you is every possible route your project can take from the very first day all the way to the last.
So here's the most important point. One of these paths is going to take longer than all the others. That longest path is your critical path. That is your red line, and it represents the shortest possible time your project can be completed in.
And to find it, you just have to do some simple addition. Just add up the time estimates for each path. So as you can see here, Path 1 adds up to 43 days. Path 2 is a bit shorter, at 36 days. And Path 3 is only 27 days. The longest one dictates the timeline.
So in this example, 43 days, that's our magic number. That is the minimum duration of this project. It doesn't matter how fast you finish the tasks on those other shorter paths, this project will not be done in less than 43 days unless you shorten the red line itself.
Now you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of work just to find one number. But knowing that number and knowing the exact path that creates it, that's like a superpower in project management. It gives you this incredible focus and clarity.
I mean, the benefits here are huge. You can finally create timelines that are realistic. You eliminate all that wasted time when teams are just sitting around waiting for something to get finished. You know exactly where to focus your best people and resources, right on that red line.
The people working on this path, they're your VIPs. And when the pressure mounts, you can make smart decisions instead of just telling everyone to work faster, which we all know just leads to burnout. You protect the tasks that matter, and you can let the rest go.
So, I'll leave you with this. Once you identify your project's red line, the most important question isn't what you'll start doing, it's what you will stop doing. What distractions are you going to eliminate? What low-impact tasks will you deprioritize to protect the one path that truly matters? Think about it.